In this lesson, I'm going to share a handful of the most useful 4-stroke patterns that you should learn on the drums, along with examples of how to apply them musically within your drumming. And as with the other lessons in this series, these are the patterns that tend to come up the most often in my playing. And even though some of them may appear simple on the surface, we can apply them in all kinds of interesting ways once we've mastered the basics. So let's dive in. The first pattern is the paradiddle. It's the first rudiment any of us learn, and yet it can end up being one of the least appreciated because it's not immediately obvious how to take this rudiment from a practice pad and apply it musically around the kit. So let me share a couple of ways of doing this. First off, you want to get to grips with your paradiddles, so practice them within the context of a timing ladder. If your paradiddles are feeling weak, you need to start here. Begin by counting eighth notes with your left hand on the snare and you right on any of the other drums, or if you're just on a practice pad, that's fine. Then go up into eighth note triplets, then 16th notes and 16th note triplets, and then back down the ladder. This is an excellent exercise for hand control, for timing, and simply for articulating paradiddles in different ways. Remember, for those 16th note triplets, we're playing 6 notes in a row. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But that gets us part of the way through a paradiddle. So that's the hardest thing when you're up at the 16th note triplet, to really get that flowing nicely. Focus on relaxing as much as you can and making sure that those double strokes are actually double strokes and you're not playing 2 singles. That's going to make the whole thing flow a lot easier. Exercise 2, paradiddle groove. This one's going to be really cool. We'll keep a paradiddle between the hi-hats and the snare drum. And next we're going to put some accents in there. We're going to put a kick drum on the 1, snare on the 2 and 4, and then another kick drum on the 3 and. That's going to sound like this. And when you speed this one up, it sounds super sick. Exercise 3, paradiddle groove number 2. Let's add a little bit more complexity and spice to this. We can play a paradiddle between our hands and feet as well. So let's try putting this into a groove. To begin with, we're going to play right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left. Right, left, right, right, double stroke on the snare. Right, left, right, left, snare accent, right, left, left. There's your first 2 paradiddles. Then for the next 2 paradiddles, we've got right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left. Right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left. And you put those 2 things together and you get this. All right, the next exercise is going to be a tried and tested pattern that you can build up some amazing speed pretty quickly with. It's right, left, kick, kick. And it comes in super useful for drum fills especially. If you've got a double kick, you're probably already using this pattern and playing with both feet. So let's think outside the box a little bit and try to get the pattern down with a single pedal. And for this, I use heel toe technique to get that double stroke in. You can also try this pattern at 16th note triplets. And remember, up at that speed, you're playing 6 notes for every quarter note. So the pattern gets offset as you're playing it. And that sticking would be right, left, kick, kick, right, left for the first quarter note. And then the second quarter note is going to be kick, kick, right, left, kick, kick. And you have to get used to playing those two things off each other. And to get used to that, you might want to try playing it just in one place, like on the floor tom, because adding in other sounds can kind of throw you off the timing of it at first. So get used to how it feels at first in one place, and then begin to move it into other places on the kit. This next exercise is a slight variation on the previous one. We're playing right, left, kick, kick, left, right, kick, kick. And just this one simple change opens it up to a load more different orchestrations. You can use a single or double pedal for this, obviously, and try combinations where you play something like right, left, kick, kick, right, left, kick, kick, left, right, kick, kick. So you do 2 and then 1, because that's going to build up your independence and give you even more options. Right, left, right, kick. This one's awesome. It's pretty easy. It feels super flowy, and it can open up your feels to some really fun orchestration. And when you play it at 16th note triplets, it just gets even more awesome. Maybe by now a pattern is starting to emerge. A lot of these ideas are just variations of the same idea. We just change the note length, we change the orchestration, we displace the starting point back or forth. And that's one of the fastest ways to expand your vocabulary, using the patterns that you already know. These are just some of the 4-stroke patterns that have entered my realm, and I use these to string together more interesting, longer combinations of patterns for drum fills. And building these types of patterns up really begins to expand your drumming vocabulary. In the next lesson, we're going to work with some 5-stroke patterns and introduce you to the world of odd timing, and I'll see you there.